everyone, welcome back to this channel. Well, today I'm back with one more interesting programming and mathematical concept, and this you can use as an exercise. And this exercise is pretty interesting. It's quite good. I think this is the favorite topic to most of them, right? Quadratic equations. I think you guys know what is a quadratic equation, but yet we have to say the basic thing of quadratic equation. This will be in this form, like ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. I think you guys know the formula for quadratic equation. Like if you want to find the value of x, what you'll do? You'll do some factorization stuff, right? But in coding, we cannot do that. It's a hectic thing to, understand computer the way we are thinking. So we do have a mathematical formula where you can get the roots of the x value. And that's pretty simple formula, that is x equal to minus b plus or minus under root of b squared minus 4ac by 2a. So the signs of plus and minus indicates that there will be two solutions. For x value, obviously we'll be having two solutions since it is a quadratic equation and the power of x is 2. So we must have two values of x and we're gonna find them using this formula. So yeah, now it's time to calculate the roots. So before that, we have to know some tips so that we can write coding using those tips. Let's go. So the tips that we're gonna follow is, first, in order to solve the quadratic equation, we need coefficients of a, b, and c, as it is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, right? So we need a value, b value, c value from that equation. We're gonna get these three values from the user. After that, what are we going to do is we're just going to substitute these three values in this formula of minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4c by 2a or 2. But before that, instead of writing a code like a big code like b squared minus 4ac by 2a under root, it sucks. So what do we do is, first we will calculate b squared minus 4ac. Listen to me. B squared minus 4ac, and we'll keep that in a variable, for instance, and that is d, right? If d is less than 0, that means this root will be 0. That means that if we get d value less than 0, that means the d value will be in negative root, negative square root, and that's not a good thing. So yeah, that means we are not going to get a real values, real numbers. We're gonna get some complex number if the d is less than 0. So if d equal to 0, this value will be 0 and minus b by 2 or plus b by 2. That will be the root. Right? So at that time, if we calculate minus b by 2a, we're gonna get some double roots. For example, if you take x squared plus 2x plus 1, and if you do factorization, you'll get x minus 1 and x minus 1 two times. That means we have two x values and those two values are same. That means the roots are same, but those are double roots. That's it. It is greater than 0, then we're gonna get some real number and we just substitute that d value here and we will calculate. We will get two roots this time. We have to take ABC from the user, we have to substitute here, but before that we have to find b squared minus 4ac value and we have to substitute that b squared minus 4ac value also here with ABC, and yeah, that's it. We just have to solve that particular thing and we just have to show the roots that we are getting to the user. Okay, let's start coding. I think you guys opened your favorite coding editor. Now let's find the real solutions of the quadratic equation. So for that, for the first and foremost thing is we have to take three coefficients of a, b, and c. So let's take them in a single line. So a comma b comma c equal to eval of input enter the coefficients of a, b, and c. Alright, done. Now we're gonna take them with commas. Let's say this to the user. Separated by comma, done. Now we have three inputs from the user, and before that we have to find the b squared minus 4ac values. For that, I'm going to create a variable with the logic b squared minus 4 into c, b squared minus 4ac. Right? If d less than 0. If d less than 0, it means that the equation has no real roots. So we're gonna print this one. We're just gonna print the equation has no real roots. What if d is equal to 0? At that time, we're going to calculate minus b by 2a, because at that time, this rule will be 0. We're going to focus on minus b by 2a. And that time, since it is x squared, since the power of x is 2, we need definitely 2 roots from this equation. And though we get the same value, that means we have 2 same roots of the x. That's it. So yeah, let's do it. If d equal to 0, what are we going to do is, here we have to find the root, right? So let's create a variable root with minus b by 2a. That's it. Minus b by 2 into a. And we're going to print there is a double root. There is a double root. And that will be same. And that is comma root. Yeah, that's all. Next, what if d is greater than 0? You have to calculate 2 roots by substituting the values in the formula. And finally, you'll get 2 values and you have to print those 2 values, right? So here we already have 2 conditions, right? If d is less than 0, if d equal to 0. If these 2 conditions are false, then we have the one and only condition that will be obviously greater than 0. So you can just put else here. Let's keep else. We're gonna do the root equal to, first we have to find the square root of b squared minus 4ac. So what are we going to do is square root of, what is b squared minus 4ac? Actually, you can say that this will be d, right? b squared minus 4ac is nothing but d. So square root. How can we find the square root of a number? You don't have to write the logic for the square root of a number. You can just use a module from Python which is inbuilt, and this module is actually a math. There is a function called square root which is from math module. So in order to implement that square root function, we have to import math. So for that, I'm going to import this module math on the top of the code. So import math. How are we going to use the square root method? By calling math.square root. And that's it. You can just use square root, and this square root of d will get stored in the variable root, right? Okay, I think we'll get confused. Let's give some root. Just give some root. This will be easy for us to, understand the difference between this and this. And now, what do we need? We have b squared minus 4ac, and we just have to do minus b by 2a or plus b by 2a. Now we are done with b squared minus 4ac, right? We found the square root of the b squared minus 4ac and we kept in some root. And in order to find the 2 more roots, minus b plus b squared minus 4ac by 2a, right? We have to do that. So create root 1 equal to minus b. Listen to this and see this carefully. This time I'm gonna do minus b plus or minus, right? 1 will be plus and 1 will be minus. Okay, let me create this one. Root 2 equal to same, but minus b plus or minus, right? Minus b minus under root of b squared minus 4ac, right? This b squared minus 4ac is here in some root, right? So we're going to copy this sum root and we're going to keep it here. Under root of b squared minus 4ac is done. And now we're going to do 2a. 2 into a. That's it. In the same way, we're going to do the same thing, but instead of plus, we're going to keep minus because we need plus or minus. That's it. Minus 2a, and we're gonna get the solutions. So print the roots or the solutions are root 1 comma root 2. Yeah, and that's it. But if we want this else to run, we have to keep it elif, so that all these three conditions will get linked, and if one is not performing, then obviously it will go to next if, and it will perform according to the conditions that we gave to the code. Now let's run this. So save this. I'm gonna give the coefficients of a comma b comma c here. 1 comma 2 comma 1. There is a double root of minus 1.0, right? Because if you see x squared plus 2x plus 1, at this stage b squared minus 4ac will be 0, and if that's 0, then we're gonna get minus b by 2a as the thing. We're gonna substitute b and a over there, and we're gonna get minus 1.0. As we are dividing, obviously the result will be in float, so don't get confused. If you see minus 1.0 as output, that means x has 2 times minus 1.0. That means x equal to minus 1 and minus 1. It has 2 minus 1 numbers as roots. Okay, now let's give some more, any number if you want. You can play with the numbers by giving the coefficients of a comma b comma c, and if that's less than 0, we can get some imaginary numbers, and you don't know those imaginary numbers, how to calculate them. So for that, it's gonna say no real roots. Obviously we need some real roots, so if it is equal to 0, then we're gonna get same two numbers as the roots. If it is greater than 0, it means if these two conditions are not working, then obviously d will be greater than 0, and at that time we're gonna do math dot square root of d. D is nothing but b squared minus 4ac, and we're gonna do minus b plus or minus into under root of b squared minus 2ac by 2a. We are just implementing that formula by dividing it into some portions, and we're gonna print root 1 and root 2, and in this way it works. Let me give one more input. I'm just giving the numbers randomly. You can do whatever you want. You can just play with those numbers. The equation has no real roots, maybe, because it may be d is less than 0. Yeah, that's all for today. I'll be back with new interesting exercise for you guys so that you can learn something new, or you can, feel free to program with Python. If you like the video, then hit that cute red like button. See you in the next exercise.